Hey everybody, it's George Trombley, and this is Korean from Zero. We're going through Korean from Zero, Book 1. We are on Lesson C, the hard Hangul sounds.
Love should be easy. Why should it not?
Guys, please write in the book. Please destroy this book. I want it to have notes all over it. I want post-it notes all over the place. I want this book to be destroyed by the time we're done with it, all right? Don't make this a piece of art that you keep on your shelf. I'm actually super excited today because I spent 4 hours rewriting this PowerPoint to do something that we've never done before. Boom, we're gonna have a quiz. There's gonna be 2 quizzes right up front. The first one is a reading and word quiz. And what that means is I'm gonna show you the word. You're going to read it out loud. I want you to say it out loud, and then I will play it for you. And then the next step is, what does it mean, okay? Ready? Here we go. First one. Say it out loud.
다,
What does it mean?
다,
If you got both right, give yourself 1 point. There's a total of 8 points, okay? I want to know how many you get out of 8. Next one. Ready?
노래, 노래,
And what does it mean? All right. Next word.
고구마, 고구마,
What does it mean? Say that out loud too. Say both parts out loud, all right? Ready?
모두, 모두,
By the way, if you need more time, you can pause. I know it's a little bit late. I'm this far in. What does this mean? All right. All right. Hopefully you got 4 out of 4, but that's okay if you didn't. Now that you know we're going to be quizzing, you'll actually pay attention to the words that we learn. All right. Now, the next quiz, another 4 questions, is now dictation. This will be the harder, but more important quiz, okay? So this time, I'm going to play the sound, and I want you to pull out a piece of paper and do your best to write what you hear. And then we'll guess the English word. Ready? Here's the first one.
개, 개, 개,
All right. What does it mean? Dog. Now, please pause if you need to, okay? Pause if you need to. Next word. Write it down.
누구, 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 누구,
Did you get it? Now, what does it mean? Okay, some of you have 6 points. Next word.
나라, 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 나라,
Okay, what does it mean? Okay, final word. Final chance for redemption for those of you that haven't got any points yet.
누나, 누나, 누나,
Here it is. What does it mean? Now, it means older sister, but only when you are a boy. This is a boy version of older sister. Girls have a different version. All right, there you go. Let me know what you did in the points down below. I'm curious how many of you got 8 out of 8. For those of you that did, congratulations. Okay, now we're going to introduce 4 more consonants, all right? So first I'm going to click them so you can hear the name.
cute, cute,
Now, you'll notice that all of the names, you might have noticed, they start and end with the character that we're for the particular part, the jamel. So look,
cute,
starts with it and ends with it. All right?
cute,
Starts and ends. And it has an E and then an U. E, U. That's the pattern.
cute, peep,
Most of the time. There are some that don't, but these are following that pattern.
peep, peep, cute, cute, cute,
All right, now let's look at some new vowels.
yeah, 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 wow, wow,
Now you will notice that down here in our English representations, these are both yeah. This one just appears to be a little bit longer. Again, once we show you words, that difference will disappear. You will not hear these sounding different. And if you do hear them different, I'm curious. Can you hear the difference? Because I cannot. Moving on. All right, let's go through some words. All right. Now, remember, these words might come up in a future quiz.
야구, 야구, 배,
Now, did you hear that?
배,
Even though this, if we go back, was yeah
예,
sound, right?
예,
But when you hear this, it's not pie. No one's saying pie. She's saying
배,
pe, right? No. Now, also listen. Listen how she longer. It makes it longer. Listen.
배,
She's not saying pe. When here she's saying
예,
yeah. It makes you think, oh, do I have to say it short? No, you don't. That's just her trying to distinguish it, okay? Trust me, there's a lot of mental things happening in her head when she's recording. She's like, oh my God, why are these different? I'll distinguish them. And then she probably searched on the internet to see how they're different. And she found something and she rolled with it, okay? She's a human being just like you and me. Koreans don't know Korean as much as you think they do, just like we don't know English as much as they think we know. We don't know when to use a versus like we don't typically know that, okay? Okay, so listen again.
배,
Right? Not pie, and it's long.
카드, 카드,
Now this is an English borrowed word. These exist in Korean, and this is how they say card. Like for example, 신용카드 would be a credit card, okay?
카드,
Or any type of card you could use this.
카드,
Except for playing cards, that might be different. We'll learn that later on, I guess. All right, next one.
사과, 사과,
I promise you that there will be people in the comments that tell me the other meaning of,
사과,
oh, it also, by the way, it also means, trust me, this has another meaning. I'm not going to tell you, it'll be in the comments. Trust me, someone will say it, especially now that I said that.
티, 티, 혀, 혀, 투자, 투자 얘기 얘기
All right, now look at this one. This, if we go back, is yeah.
예
And here it's actually
얘기
yeah. But here, with the pup plus the yeah, it becomes
배
pe. Just keep that in mind. These are small things that will trick you up a little bit if you don't understand that that's what they do. All right, so let's look at hard sounds versus soft sounds, okay? And I'll explain what that means. Before I move on, I did an event one time with a girl named Margarita in England teaching Korean. We did a teaching event, and it was interesting to me that what we call hard sounds, she calls soft sounds. She's Russian. So for her, the definition is different. But when I say hard, I mean k, t, instead of d, g, okay? Hard is k, d. Okay? All right, here we go. So here, let's look at this. We have these consonant sound changes that we talked about, okay? It's important to know that the biup, the tigut, the jiut, and the kyok, they can make harder sounds. When they are the first sound in a word, you'll hear them sound like a P instead of a B, like a T instead of a D, like a ch instead of a j, okay? And like a k. So these are what I consider harder sounds. P, t, ch, and k versus b, d, j, g, okay? Now what we're going to do is in the very next frame, we're going to show words that have the same sound in a row, okay? So I want you to look at these. And don't look at the English first for a second, but just if you saw both of these characters, you think, okay, it's biup, biup, right? Gyok, gyok. You're like, okay, it's got to be the same sound twice. But listen to this.
부부 부부
Now, I'm telling you, it's hard to explain this to Koreans that we hear it differently sometimes. This, to me, sounds more like poo, boo, instead of boo, boo. Now, I do believe it's not exactly poo, boo. It's more boo, boo. It's a little bit more stress on this first one.
부부 부부
And I really love the discussion about this sort of thing because this isn't something that they taught me in Korean when I went to Korea, and I've been up through level 6 of Korean teaching, right? And this was never explained to me ever.
타도
This is a tigut, right? Both of these are the same character, but for some reason this sounds like ta instead of da.
타도 타도
Okay? How about this one?
기기 기기
Hopefully you hear it. Hopefully it's not me. I'll tell you, when me and Purdue were working on these sounds, she didn't hear it. And we had a lot of discussion on this. And she eventually heard it. We had to go up to Google. We had to do Google Translate. I did, over and over again. If you want to have a little bit of fun, go to Google Translate. Here, I'm going to do it right now. We're going to jump out of this just for a second, okay? All right, here we go. Korean mode. Okay, and now listen, you can click right here. Even though it says G-I-G-I right down here, it says G-I-G-I.
기기,
Put my headphones on. All right, here we go.
기기,
You hear it, right?
기기,
To me, it sounds like Kigi. Now, if you take this and repeat it, listen.
기기기기기기기기기,
And if we put a space in there,
기기기기기, 기기기기기,
you hear the key comes up again. So even Google is aware of the phenomena where the first in a word is set to a stronger sound. Let's do the same thing with ba. Okay?
바바바바바,
You hear it?
바바바바바,
Pa ba 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 ba, right? It's not ba 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 ba.
바바바바바,
Let's put some spaces in.
바바바바바바바바,
Okay? It's much easier to hear it in this context, okay? All right, let's go back to the PowerPoint now.
부부 타도 기기 지지
So if you want to speak Korean and sound closer to natural, just be aware that these consonants in the very first part of the word are going to have a harder sound. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now here's the important note. Piup, tiut, tiut, and kiut, they are always pronounced with a hard sound, no matter where they show up in the word. That's a key difference. And also their sound's a little bit harder. There's a slight difference between the hardness sound of when these are in the beginning hard sounds versus these, okay? I had lunch with Pudum, and we were talking about these different sound differences. We were debating them. And then I realized there's a really easy way to show these differences, okay? So let's look at this particular food and this particular food. I don't want to say it in Korean because I don't want to taint your ears. But this back part, we don't know how to read this yet, okay? We haven't figured this one out yet. You might be able to figure it out by just looking at it. So don't worry about that. But I want you to focus on this. Starts with a kyok right here. Starts with a kyok. This is the same word here as it is in the back here, okay? We're just adding the word oi up front, which is cucumber. So listen.
김치, 오이김치, 김치, 오이김치,
It's a very strong, proper K sound.
김치,
But when you say cucumber kimchi, because it's the middle of the word,
오이김치,
it's kimchi. I think that really displays it well. And when Purdue and I, if you ever have a Korean friend that can't hear that difference, I would say, have them say these words and they'll hear it.
김치, 오이김치,
Because Pudum did hear it. And I was like, yay, we finally got some closure. All right, moving on. All right, so now let's look at, these are very similar. One is like a softer sound and the harder sound, but listen to how they sound. I'm going to go up, down on all of these. Here we go.
가, 가, 다, 타, 파, 파, 자, 차.
One more time.
가, 가, 다, 타, 파, 파, 자, 차. 가, 타, 파, 차. 가, 타, 파, 자.
Not as strong. All right. Now let's look at the difference between yeah and yeah. Okay. Now I'm really going to show you how they're not different, but I'm calling it the difference because that's what people are going to look up. Okay. So I want you to hear how in some words that these actually, this yeah and this yeah are going to sound like eh and eh. All right. So listen to this.
물에, 물에,
And this is the pinch point. This is a hard part of Korean. How do you spell mure? It's not eh. It could be eh and it could be eh. And it could be this and it could be this because these sounds can all sound the same.
물에,
Okay? Listen to this one for machine.
기계, 기계,
Don't focus on what this actually is here, but this is the he, she pronoun. Do not worry about this yet. Just listen to the sound because it's got yeah.
개, 개,
Now, how is that different from dog?
개, 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 개.
She's just saying it a little bit longer. It's the same sound though. Now here, when it's using the iung to do the pure vowel sound, it will never be eh. It'll always be yeah.
얘기, 얘기,
All right. Moving on. Again, we want to talk about handwriting versus fonts. This messed me up in the beginning because I'm like, why? This is down perpendicular to this line, but these are parallel. This is the exact same character. This is here. All right, moving on. Now let's look at some new words with the characters that we just learned. Nose,
코, 코,
blood,
피, 피,
party,
파티, 파티,
her, she,
그녀, 그녀,
anger,
화, 화,
The world.
세계 세계
Notice it is not 세계, even though it is 예.
세계
Here's another English borrowed word. Pizza.
피자 피자
Heater.
히터 히터
All right, that's it, guys. I will see you all next time. Let me know what your score was. 다음에 봐요. Well, that was a long one. I'm glad you stuck around for this. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to be able to get through these, but you have to be paying attention the whole time. All right, guys, the next one is double consonants, lesson D.